Hi guys. Today is February 1st. I am on day 14 of my second cycle. I go in for my third AC treatment tomorrow. And I'm realizing, for those of you that don't know me in real life, I've never introduced myself and I apologize. My name is Nerisa and I am a 42-year-old lady. I am a wife and a mom of two, and I've got 3 dogs that I love so much. I am a middle school lunch lady, although I am not working due to chemo treatment. I have not been back to work since Christmas break. Yeah, because that's when like all the craziness started. But yes, my job is a middle school lunch lady and it's not for the weak. I absolutely love it. It's insanity. But I will be out for the rest of the school year. I am a mother and a daughter and a friend and a sister and a coworker. And yeah, I just wanted to share a little bit about myself and share my diagnosis story. In October is when I finally said something to my doctor, and don't do what I did. I got lucky. Excuse me. Early detection is key. Living in denial and hoping that it will go away does you absolutely no good. And I am very fortunate that I said something early enough on that it's considered early stages. As far as we know, it has not spread. So I am super grateful for that, because when I got my diagnosis, I was kicking myself for not saying something sooner, especially as we get older. If you see something, say something. You have to be your own advocate. And if me sharing my crazy journey helps just one person, then it was so worth it. In October is when I finally went to my doctor and explained to her that I had found a lump. It had been there for a while, and I hate to admit that. But honestly, I assumed it was like a fatty tumor. I'm rather well endowed, and so honestly, I just thought it was like a fat cell. And I noticed that as my period approached and my breasts would get tender, I noticed that it would swell a little bit. And then as my period started and the tenderness went away, it felt smaller. So I honestly didn't really think it was a big deal. But after like 2 or 3 months, I noticed it wasn't going away and it was getting bigger. And that's when I was like, okay, we've got to just go see the doctor and whatever happens, happens. But like I said, I didn't think it was anything serious. My doctor actually didn't think it was anything. She too thought it was like a fatty tumor or something along those lines. But she confirmed that it was there. We could both feel it. And so she gave me referrals to get a mammogram, which would be my first one. And actually, if you are 40 or older, you should get a mammogram. If you are high risk because cancer runs in your family, you should actually get one sooner than 40. Don't wait. And please don't be like me. Start doing your monthly breast self-exams. You are going to know your body better than anybody else. That way, if there's any changes, you're going to catch it early. And the reason you want to catch it early is it can spread. So, for example, my treatment plan is 6 months of chemo. Then we're going to do surgery this summer, more than likely a lumpectomy, where they just cut out the cancerous area instead of a mastectomy, but that is still on the table. And then I will be following that up with radiation. But with my surgery, what they're going to do is, it's on my left side, they're going to remove the cancerous area. They're also going to take some lymph node biopsies. And the reason they're going to do that is if the cancer has spread, the first place it will show up more than likely is your closest lymph nodes. So they will take a few samples from here and test them. And if knock on wood, they find cancer in my lymph nodes, then they will see if it has spread anywhere else. But if you have a cancer and you don't realize it and you don't go to the doctor, it can spread. It can, masticize. I think that's the way you say it. I can type it out. Don't ask me to say it, but it can spread. And that's where you get in serious trouble, and it becomes harder and harder to treat because it can spread to other parts of your body that are vital, like your organs, your brain, your spine, your ovaries. You don't want that. You want to catch it early. You want to nip it in the bud. So it is so important that you're doing your own exams, doing some research. I have found out that they say to check your breasts both standing up and laying down, which I know it's another thing that you have to add to your to-do list, but your breast will feel different standing up than it will laying down. Mine, for example, I could feel it standing up, but when I laid down, I could definitely feel it because gravity was pulling everything back and there was like a lump that I could feel. So yes, please do your exams. Anywho, getting sidetracked. In December, I did my mammogram. They confirmed that something was there. I also did a ultrasound and they did a biopsy that day. A week later, I got results that it was cancer. So I have triple negative IDC. Oh my gosh, why am I blanking on the name? Invasive ductal carcinoma, meaning it started out in one of my milk ducts and hopefully it hasn't spread. With mine being IDC triple negative, it is a little trickier to treat. If it was hormone receptive, meaning it was fed by hormones like estrogen or progesterone, I would have more treatment options. So they say that triple negative is a little more tricky. So we are doing chemo first to hopefully shrink the tumor, which, spoiler alert, I was teary-eyed this morning because I just happened to check this morning as I was getting ready to start my day. And oh my God, I'm gonna get weepy again. It's shrinking. It is shrinking. Thank you, Jesus. The chemo and the prayers are working and it's shrinking, and it was good sized. It was like a small grape. And now it's like I can barely feel it. So it was actually like kind of tricky to do my makeup this morning because I kept getting watery-eyed just thinking about it. I'm so relieved. There was like a 50-50 chance that the chemo would work. And the fact that it is, I'm so grateful. But yeah, so sorry, I keep getting sidetracked. A week later, I got results. 3 days after that, my navigator called. Her name is Carrie, and she is amazing. It was kind of frustrating. For the 3 days after the diagnosis, you just kind of sit with this information like, I have cancer, and your world just stops. And I'll admit, I started to Google breast cancer, and I knew like immediately, don't do it. I'm going to overwhelm myself. And there are so many different kinds of breast cancer and variables and treatment plans that you will drive yourself crazy and stress yourself out. So if you're in my situation, you get a diagnosis, don't do it. Just wait until you have actual answers from your doctor. So anywho, my navigator called. Her name is Carrie, and I jokingly call her my breast friend. And she is amazing, so caring. She called, she introduced herself, she asked how I was doing. And then she is the one that got all of my appointments going. And then suddenly my life was moving at like warp speed. My calendar was full. It was overwhelming. But take it one day, one appointment at a time. And I promise you it's going to slow down. So in that blur before I started chemo, I met with my oncologist. I met with my surgeon. I had an EKG done. And the reason they do that is chemo can be very hard on your heart. So they wanted to not only make sure that my heart was healthy enough to handle chemo, they also wanted to get a baseline. So as I progress through chemo, if anything happens, they can see if there have been any changes during my chemo treatment. Then I also got my port placed 3 days after Christmas. I don't know if you can see it. See my little bump? This is how I get my chemo treatments. They, instead of using an IV in my arm, they clean this and they stick a special needle right in here. And it's nice because they can do my lab work through this. Only poke me once, leave it there, leave the little IV doohickey, seal it off. I can go meet with my oncologist while they run my lab work numbers, and then I can come back and do my chemo. And then on January 5th, on my son's 16th birthday, we started chemo. So that was a crazy couple of months. That was October to January. And now that I've started chemo, things have slowed. Life is, my new normal is much calmer. But yeah, that is my story. And I've done 2 of my 4 AC chemos. You can see that 4. And then I move on to Taxol. And I'm handling it really well. Knock on wood. I've heard horror stories from other people that are just so nauseous and sick and blah, blah, blah. But yeah, I have chemo tomorrow, number 3. It's weird, I get excited about it because each one brings me closer to the finish line. But I also nest. I nest right before my treatments because I know I'm going to be down for the count for the next couple of days. So I, tidy up the house, I get laundry done, I water my house plants because I don't want my husband or kids doing it. And so I just try to get some things done before chemo treatment day. But yeah, tomorrow is number 3, and I'm excited because each one just brings me closer. And I've joked with my husband, I was like, man, I'm not that I have a choice in the matter, but some days I just wish I could just knock out all of the AC chemos like back to back. Like, why are we doing this every other week? Let's just do it every week, get it over with. But because it is every other week, it is nice that I get a break. So right after chemo, I feel like absolute crap. I am so lethargic, like unbelievably lethargic. And like as the days go by, I start to get my energy back and I don't need as many naps and I can start doing things around the house again. And then I have like a week or so of just feeling great. Like I feel like myself, I can do things. I feel normal. And then it's chemo day again. It's just, a vicious cycle. And so I'm not that, like I said, not that I have a choice, but sometimes I wish I could just knock it out and reach this finish line sooner, but it's not like that's an option. But I'm super grateful for the days where I feel good and I feel like myself and I'm actually able to, do simple things like cook dinner. Like my family has been amazing. My husband has like really stepped up to the plate. I mean, he's obviously like a great guy. I have 0 complaints, but he has really stepped up and started doing laundry and, cooking dinner and doing the grocery shopping. Like I haven't had to ask him to do any of that stuff. He's just done it. So I no longer take those like, I can't think of the word. Maybe chemo brain's kicking in already. But I no longer take these little tiny tasks that I used to dread for granted, loading the dishwasher, going grocery shopping, cooking dinner. I used to hate it. I'm like, oh my God, why am I responsible for cooking for you guys every day for the rest of my life until I die? But now it's kind of like, I realize it's a privilege, not everybody gets to cook their family dinner. So it is really nice that I've got the support of my family, and it's definitely changed my view on things. So I'm grateful for the days that I feel good and I'm actually able to cook dinner and help out around the house. But this is getting kind of long and I feel like I'm starting to ramble. So yeah, I just wanted to say hi and introduce myself and give you guys my backstory. And I appreciate you guys following along on my journey. It means a lot. So yeah, I will talk to you guys in the next one. Okay. Hope you guys have a good day. Bye.